Hey everyone, and welcome to your deep dive into regenerative agriculture.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, we're exploring an article this time. It's called
Okay.
"Regenerative Agriculture is Our Common Ground in a Polarized World."
Okay.
It was published on November 15th, 2024, and it's written by Jacob Devaney.
Oh, yeah. I've read some of this stuff.
He's a writer and a creative artist who's contributed to platforms like Unify.org, Medium, and the Huffington Post.
Yeah, he's really interesting.
You know, we talk a lot on this show about all the environmental challenges that we're facing,
Yeah.
and it can all feel really overwhelming at times, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
What if I told you that there was a solution,
Okay.
a hopeful and actionable solution that's gaining momentum around the world?
I'd love to hear more.
And what if it involved a film starring Jason Momoa and Woody Harrelson?
Okay, now you've got my attention.
That's exactly what we're diving into today.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
So Devaney's article really captures this sense of optimism around regenerative agriculture. And it's not just a farming technique.
Right.
It's a whole movement.
Yeah.
It's offering a path toward a healthier planet.
Okay, so let's start with the basics.
Sure.
What exactly is regenerative agriculture?
Okay.
And why should our listeners care?
Okay, so regenerative agriculture, it's a way of farming that focuses on working with nature,
Okay.
not against it.
So instead of depleting the soil like with conventional farming,
Right, exactly.
they're trying to rebuild it.
Yes, revitalize it.
Okay.
And the key to all of that is soil health.
Soil health.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that.
Well, think of healthy soil as a massive carbon sink. It has this incredible ability to pull carbon dioxide
Right.
out of the atmosphere.
Okay.
And, that process is called carbon sequestration.
Right.
And in fact, studies have shown that if regenerative agriculture was adopted widely,
Okay.
we could sequester up to 250 gigatons of carbon annually.
Wow. 250 gigatons.
Yeah.
That's a huge number.
It's significant. It's a significant chunk of the carbon we need to remove to combat climate change.
Okay, so basically we're talking about turning farmland into a weapon against climate change.
Exactly.
I'm starting to see why people are so excited about this.
Yeah, and it goes beyond carbon sequestration.
Okay.
Regenerative agriculture can also reduce our reliance on chemical fertilizers
Right.
and pesticides, which leads to cleaner water,
Yeah.
healthier ecosystems, and ultimately better food for all of us.
Healthier food and a healthier planet.
Exactly.
Okay, so how does it actually work?
Okay.
What are some of the techniques that are used in regenerative agriculture?
There are a number of practices, but some of the key ones are cover cropping,
Okay.
crop rotation, no-till farming.
Okay, let's break this down a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
Cover cropping.
Yeah, so cover cropping involves planting non-cash crops
Okay.
like clover or rye to protect and enrich the soil between growing seasons.
So instead of leaving the soil bare, they're
Sure.
planting these cover crops to act as a sort of natural armor and fertilizer.
Precisely. It helps prevent erosion, it improves soil structure, and it adds organic matter back into the ground.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about crop rotation?
Okay, crop rotation is the practice of alternating different types of crops in the same field
Okay.
over time, and this helps break pest cycles, improves soil fertility, and reduce the need for synthetic fertilizers.
So give me an example of that.
Sure. So, for example, a farmer might rotate corn with soybeans,
Okay.
which are legumes that naturally fix nitrogen in the soil.
So it's all about creating a balanced ecosystem where the crops actually work together to support each other and the soil.
That's the idea.
I like that.
And then there's no-till farming,
Okay.
which is pretty revolutionary.
Okay.
It means planting seeds directly into the soil without disturbing it with plowing or tilling.
So they're saying goodbye to the plow
Exactly.
and letting nature do its thing.
Yeah, it requires a bit of a shift in thinking.
Yeah,
But the
well-
results can be remarkable.
Wow. Okay, so I'm definitely getting a clearer picture of how these practices all work together to create this regenerative system.
Yeah.
Now, Devaney's article also talks about a film
Yes.
called Common Ground
It's great.
and how it's helping to bring this movement into the spotlight.
Yes, the film is fascinating.
Yeah?
It's directed by Rebecca Harrell-Tickle,
Okay.
and she also co-directed the successful documentary Kiss the Ground,
Oh, yeah.
which explored similar themes.
Right.
And Common Ground goes even deeper, I think,
Okay.
delving into the challenges of our current food system and showcasing these inspiring solutions offered by regenerative agriculture.
And it features some big names, right?
Yes, Jason Momoa and Woody Harrelson are both involved.
Oh, wow.
They're both really passionate about sustainability,
Right.
and they saw this film as an opportunity to amplify this important message.
Makes sense. Having those big names on board certainly helps to raise awareness and reach a wider audience. Now, Devaney mentioned that the film doesn't shy away from the problems in the food industry, the money and power dynamics.
Right. It explores how our current agricultural system has become dominated by large corporations, often at the expense of small farmers
Right.
and the environment.
Okay.
It exposes some of the less savory aspects of the industry, like the influence of lobbyists
Oh, wow.
and the push for unsustainable practices.
So it's not just a feel-good film about happy cows and organic veggies.
Well,
It's actually tackling some tough issues.
absolutely. It delves into the real struggles that farmers are facing,
Hmm.
the challenges of transitioning to regenerative practices,
Yeah.
and the systemic barriers that need to be overcome.
Okay, that's interesting, but I'm guessing it doesn't just dwell on the negatives?
Right at all.
Okay.
The main message is one of hope and unity.
Good.
It showcases the incredible resilience and ingenuity of farmers who are leading the way in regenerative agriculture.
Okay.
And it highlights the power of collective action to create a better future.
It's good to hear that there's some hope in there.
Yeah,
We all need a bit of hope these days.
we do.
And it sounds like this film is offering more than just awareness. It's offering a vision of a different way of doing things.
Exactly.
A way that benefits both people and the planet.
Yes, and it's not just about the big picture.
Okay.
It's about the personal stories of individual farmers who are making a difference in their communities.
Speaking of farmers, Devaney refers to them as superheroes in the article.
Yes.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the role they play in all of this.
In many ways, they are the heroes of this story.
Yeah.
They're on the front lines, not only providing us with food, but also actively working to heal the planet
Right.
with these regenerative practices. As Devaney so eloquently puts it, farming is more than food.
Powerful quote.
It's about restoring balance
Yeah.
to the entire ecosystem,
Yeah.
including our human communities.
It really captures the essence of what regenerative agriculture is all about.
It does.
It's not just about growing crops.
It's about nurturing life in all its forms.
Exactly. And it's about recognizing that farmers aren't just producers, they're stewards of the land,
Yeah.
guardians of our future.
I like that. And it sounds like the film does a good job of showcasing this diversity of farmers,
It does.
all united by this common goal.
Absolutely. Common Ground features a wide range of voices, from white, black, and indigenous farmers
Wow.
to young entrepreneurs and seasoned veterans.
That's amazing.
It's a testament to the fact that this movement is not about any one group or ideology.
Right.
It's about a shared vision for a healthier, more just,
Yeah.
and more sustainable world.
I'm really struck by this idea of regenerative agriculture as a unifying force.
Yeah.
It seems to transcend political divides and offer a common ground for people from all walks of life.
Yes, and that's something that Devaney really emphasizes in his article.
Okay.
He sees regenerative agriculture as a powerful antidote to the polarization and division that we're seeing in the world today. Okay, so we've got this fascinating concept of regenerative agriculture,
Right.
this inspiring film that's sparking a global movement.
Yes.
But what about the power of film itself?
Yeah.
I mean, think about documentaries like An Inconvenient Truth or Blackfish.
Oh, yeah?
They've had a huge impact on public awareness
Absolutely.
and even sparked real change.
I agree.
So you're absolutely right. Documentaries have this unique ability to connect with us on an emotional level.
They do?
They combine powerful storytelling with visuals that stay with you
Yes.
long after the credits have rolled.
They make you feel it,
Yeah.
not just think about it.
Right, and that's what often leads to action.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in today's world, with digital platforms and social media, these films can reach a global audience,
Yeah.
fostering a sense of shared responsibility
Mm.
and inspiring action on a massive scale.
So you could say that documentaries like Common Ground are playing a crucial role in amplifying this movement,
Yeah.
taking it from a niche idea
Right.
to a global conversation.
Absolutely. They have the power to shift perspectives,
Yeah.
change hearts and minds,
Yeah.
and ultimately drive real change.
Okay, so we've learned a lot about regenerative agriculture and power of film to drive change.
Right.
But here's the question I'm sure you're all thinking.
Okay.
What can you actually do about it?
Yeah.
It's all very inspiring,
It is.
but where do you even start?
That's the key question.
Yeah, so give us some examples. What are some concrete actions that our listeners can take?
Well, one of the most impactful things you could do is support local farmers
Okay.
who are practicing regenerative agriculture.
How do we do that?
You can seek out farmers markets,
Yeah?
Join a community-supported agriculture program.
I've heard of those.
You might know them as CSAs, or even just make an effort to buy produce from farms that
Sure.
are committed to these practices.
So basically vote with our dollars.
Exactly. Show those farmers that we value what they're doing.
Right.
And beyond individual choices, you can also advocate for policy changes that support regenerative agriculture.
So like contacting our elected officials.
Yes. Contact your elected officials, support organizations that are working on these issues,
Right.
and use your voice to push for a more sustainable food system.
So it's not just about what we buy, it's about creating a system that actually incentivizes these practices.
Exactly.
Okay, I love that idea. But what about those of us who aren't farmers or policymakers? Is there anything we can do in our own backyards, so to speak?
Absolutely. You can start by composting your food scraps
Okay.
to create nutrient-rich soil for your garden.
Yeah.
If you have a lawn, consider reducing the size
Okay.
and opting for native plants that require less water
Right.
and maintenance. Even something as simple as planting a tree
Yeah.
can help sequester carbon and support local biodiversity.
Those are all great ideas. I've never really thought about reducing the size of my lawn before.
Yeah,
It makes sense, though. Lawns are kind of like these little mini deserts.
they can be, especially if they're treated with chemical fertilizers and pesticides.
Mm.
By replacing some of your lawn with native plants, you're creating habitat for pollinators,
Yeah.
reducing water usage, and even making your yard more beautiful.
And more resilient.
Exactly.
Because this is starting to feel really empowering.
Yeah.
It's not about waiting for someone else to fix things.
Right.
It's about taking action in our own lives.
Precisely. And don't underestimate the power of spreading the word.
Okay.
Talking to your friends and family about regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
Sharing articles and videos on social media, and just help to raise awareness about this incredible solution.
You know, we started this deep dive talking about doom and gloom.
We did.
But this conversation has been anything but. There's a real sense of hope and possibility here.
I agree. That's what's so exciting about regenerative agriculture.
Yeah.
It's not just about mitigating the negative. It's about actively creating a better future.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we're all connected to the earth,
Yeah.
and that by working with nature, we can heal ourselves and the planet at the same time.
Devaney ends his article with a call to action,
He does.
urging us to look to the future with optimism and determination.
Huh.
And I have to say, after this deep dive, I'm feeling pretty optimistic.
Me too. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the challenges we face.
Oh, yeah.
But stories like these remind us that there are solutions out there.
Yeah.
And when people come together with a shared purpose, we can accomplish amazing things.
So what stands out to you most from this deep dive? What's the one thing you hope our listeners will take away from this conversation?
For me, it's the idea that regenerative agriculture can be a unifying force
Yeah.
in a world that often feels so divided.
Right.
In a time of political polarization and social unrest, this movement offers common ground, a shared goal that transcends our differences.
I love that. And it's not just about farmers and policymakers.
Right.
Every single one of us has a role to play in this movement,
We do.
whether it's through our food choices,
Yes.
our advocacy efforts, or simply by spreading the word.
Absolutely. This is a movement that needs everyone on board.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is it's not just about saving the planet.
Right.
It's about creating a healthier, more just, and more vibrant world for all of us.
Well said. And I think that's a perfect note to end on, a message of hope, action, and above all, unity.
Indeed, it's a reminder that even in the face of daunting challenges,
Yeah.
there is always reason to be hopeful.
Right.
And when we come together with a shared vision,
Yeah.
we can create a future that is truly regenerative for ourselves and for generations to come.
So true. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind everyone to check out Common Ground,
Yes.
the film at the heart of this movement,
Please do.
with stunning visuals and a powerful message.
Yes.
It's sure to inspire you to take action.
And don't forget to explore the resources that we mentioned in the show notes.
Right.
We've included links to organizations, articles, and even tips on finding local farmers in your area.
You know, speaking of the film, something just occurred to me. Devaney mentioned that it's been a festival favorite and is even eligible for an Oscar.
Yes, it's actually already won 6 awards
Wow.
and reached the top 10 limited release documentaries of 2023.
That's impressive.
It is.
It definitely adds to the film's credibility, especially for viewers who might be new to this whole regenerative agriculture concept.
Absolutely. Awards like these bring more attention to the film and the movement it represents.
It's like a stamp of approval.
It is. It tells people this is something worth paying attention to.
Right, and it goes beyond just recognition. It's
Yeah.
about amplifying the message.
Exactly. Awards like the Oscars generate media attention,
Yeah.
sparking conversations and reaching a wider audience.
Which is so important, especially for a topic as crucial as this.
It is.
We need as many people as possible to understand the potential of regenerative agriculture
Right.
and its role in creating a more sustainable future.
Absolutely. And it's not just about Common Ground itself.
Okay.
The success of this film is a testament to the power of documentaries as a whole to drive social change.
So true. Think about the impact films like An Inconvenient Truth had on the climate change conversation.
Right.
Or how Blackfish changed the way we view marine parks.
Yeah. Documentaries have this incredible ability to connect with us emotionally.
Right.
And inspire us to take action.
And what's really interesting is how accessible documentaries have become in recent years.
It is.
With streaming platforms and social media, these films can reach a global audience.
Yes.
Transcending borders and sparking conversations on a scale that was unimaginable just a few decades ago.
I agree.
It's like Devaney said, films can be more than entertainment.
Yeah.
They can be catalysts for change, tools for education, and platforms for amplifying voices that might otherwise go unheard.
Precisely. And in the case of Common Ground, it's about more than just raising awareness. It's about offering solutions.
Yeah.
It's about showing that a better future is possible.
Right.
And that each of us has a role to play in creating it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a question
Okay.
that Devaney poses in his article. If regenerative agriculture is truly common ground, how can we use it to bridge divides and build a better future together?
That's a powerful question, and one that I hope each of you will contemplate.
Yeah.
Because ultimately this movement is about more than just farming practices.
Right.
It's about a shift in mindset. It's about recognizing our interconnectedness with the earth and with each other. It's about finding unity in our shared desire for a healthy planet
Yeah.
and a just and sustainable future.
Beautifully said. And who knows, maybe Common Ground winning an Oscar could be the catalyst that propels this movement to even greater heights,
I hope so.
sparking conversations, inspiring action, and ultimately helping to create the change we so desperately need.
Here's to hoping, and remember, even small actions, when multiplied by millions, can have a profound impact.
That's true.
So let's all do our part to support this movement, to spread the word, and to create a future where regenerative agriculture is not just a niche practice, but the norm.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this Deep Dive, everyone. We hope it's left you feeling inspired and empowered to make a difference.
Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and remember, the future is in our hands.
It's really interesting to think about how this one film could spark change on such a massive scale.
It is.
And the fact that it's winning awards and getting all this recognition is just incredible.
Yeah, it really shows the power of storytelling, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even beyond all the facts and figures about regenerative agriculture, it's those human stories.
Right.
You know, the personal stories that really resonate with people.
It's one thing to hear about all the science behind soil health and carbon sequestration, but when you see real farmers out there with
Right.
all their struggles and their challenges, and they're so passionate about this approach,
Exactly.
it becomes so much more relatable
It does.
and inspiring.
And Common Ground does such a good job of highlighting all those different voices
Yeah.
within the movement.
Yeah.
You know, you've got farmers from different backgrounds, different generations, different parts of the world,
Right.
all coming together
Yeah.
around this shared vision of a healthier planet.
It's not just some fringe idea, it's a global movement
Exactly.
with the potential to unite people from all walks of life.
And that's why I think this deep dive has been so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not just about understanding, you know, the technical stuff about regenerative agriculture.
Right.
It's also about recognizing its power to, like, bridge divides and create a more unified and sustainable future.
And that brings us back to that question that Devaney posed in the article.
Oh, yeah.
If regenerative agriculture really is common ground, how can we use it to build a better future together?
That's a great question.
It is.
And I think it's something that all of us have
Yeah.
to think about individually and collectively. How can we apply these principles of regeneration, not just to, you know, our farms and gardens,
Right.
but to our communities, our economies,
Yeah.
our relationships with each other, and the planet?
It's like a ripple effect,
It is.
starting with the soil and expanding outward
Exactly.
to touch every aspect of our lives.
And who knows, maybe Common Ground winning an Oscar
Mm-hmm.
could be one of those ripples,
Yeah.
propelling this movement to even greater heights.
Right. Imagine all the conversations that it could spark, all the actions it could inspire.
It's exciting to think about.
It is, and it's a reminder that we all have the power to contribute to this movement in our own way.
We do.
Whether it's through our everyday choices, our advocacy efforts, or simply sharing this knowledge with other people.
Well said. So as we wrap up this deep dive into regenerative agriculture,
Yeah.
we hope you're feeling informed, inspired,
Yeah.
and ready to be a part of the solution.
The future is in our hands. Let's cultivate a world where regeneration is not just a practice, but a way of life. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone.